Tune in now to the hottest sports podcast, 910 Sports. 910 Sports. We discuss the latest topics in sports, interview the athletes from all over the country, known and unknown, while spotlighting the youth of today and tomorrow with host Icon E, Mr. Personality Jacob the Great, Crystal, a.k.a. Miss Wildfire, KB the Amazing, and Steve O, a.k.a. Mr. All Everything Georgia.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon E here on 910 Sports, episode 41. Episode 41. Thank once again, I always have to do this. I have to thank God for being here because He don't have to give me this opportunity. He don't have to give us this opportunity, and He allows me to wake up every Sunday to do this, or whatever, rain, sleet, or snow. So I thank God first and foremost for being here. So I got my man Steve O here.
What's going on?
Georgia everything. You know what I'm saying? Because that's Georgia Bulldog, Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Hawks.
You know it.
If they bring back the hockey team, he gonna be there too.
I'm right there.
You know what I'm saying? So he read everything. Georgia Tech, all of them. Georgia State, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if Spellman got a football team, but he probably be a team or a fan of theirs too. But anyway, man. So the game one.
You called it. Well, you called it.
I basically said if Al Horford, if they get contributions from Al Horford, they get contributions from Peyton Pritchard, Devin White, Derek White, Golden State, we're gonna be in trouble. You
said Pritchard's name. I remember Crystal was laughing. That joker hit the big shot, just like you said.
Yeah, he was hitting
big
shot. Yeah, so my thing is and sorry everybody, I kind of sound a little raspy this morning, I got a little cold. But my thing is when Steph jumped out and hit all them threes early, and at the end of the first quarter, I looked up the score, and I think it was only up by 4 points, 32-28, if I'm correct. I said to myself, Golden State is in trouble. I said, because the old Golden State, if Steph would have jumped out like that,
they would put you down
about 15 or 20.
Yep.
I said, for the fact that they was only up by 4 points, and the biggest thing is Boston didn't back down. Boston still stayed in, they still stayed in it, and they didn't allow him to jump out and get scared. They didn't get scared. So that let me know right then and there, Golden State had their hands full. Yep. My biggest problem before I let you jump in is and I really pay attention to basketball. I really pay attention to everything that's going on the court, the field, whatever, football, basketball. And I watched Steve Kerr for years do this. And he even did this back in 2016 when Golden State was playing Cleveland. He'll take Steph Curry out. He done this in all their series. When they played Toronto, they lost in that series. Yeah. He'll take Steph Curry out, and he'll leave him out too long. Appreciate you for the love. He'll take him out for too long. And by time, think about with a shooter, you cannot leave a shooter out for a long period of time. If a shooter is hot, you take him out for a couple of minutes, let him get a rest. They breathe him right, bring him back in, and let him go back off. He put that Steph Curry stood out for his regular 5-6 minute time frame. Two things happened. They figured out how to guard. They started guarding Steph Curry. And two, he wasn't hot anymore. He didn't have a rhythm. Yeah. So that's what kind of threw everything off, especially when nobody else got hot. So what did you see in the game, you know what I'm saying, that might have been, what did you see?
Yeah, I thought the same thing when it comes to Steph Curry, man. He came out the gate busting. He couldn't miss. And then when you look at the scoreboard and you see, like I said, a 4-point difference or a 3-point difference, you knew then, like, this ain't gonna go the way that Golden State wanted to. Because I ain't saying Steph can't maintain shooting at that same clip, but just like you said, any shooter, man, throughout a game, you can get hot, start hot. You normally gonna cool off around halftime, second half. You're gonna have one quarter where you just don't go off like that, and we seen that in the third with Steph. I think that I expected a little bit more from Wiggins. Like, he had been playing good. I guess I don't know why. But he had been playing good, and I think that's, to me, was the big difference. Wiggins and Draymond didn't really give you nothing offensively. You know what I mean? They're going to have to – Draymond got to play out his mind. If Al Horford is giving you that many points, and Al Horford gave you 24, 25 points, 8 rebounds, damn near double-double, and he bringing the ball up the court, you know what I mean, on fast breaks. Like, Draymond, you got to neutralize that. And I think Draymond can. I don't know if he was just intimidated that game. He wasn't feeling it that game, but Draymond just didn't look attached. And you remember earlier that day he got into it with Big Perkins. So I think Draymond got to leave that media alone right now, man, and focus on the game. That's just me. You know, I think he's trying to be like half media, half player type role, and trying to, you know, talk about the media and stay involved with the media and then play the game. Now, I'm like, Draymond, this ain't the time. Man. I think the playoffs, the final, man, just hone in on what you need to do. Al Horford really like outclassed you. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is his first play. This is his first finals ever. And Draymond have been to the final what now? Four times?
Well, see, it's funny you say that because I tell people, I was talking to Jacob about this other day. I said they get so caught up in Golden State having all this experience being in the finals. And I'm like, if you look at the history of basketball, a lot of times it had nothing to do with it. But like, as far as like when it's your time, it's your time. Because the thing about the Celtics is battle tested. They're playoff tested. They may not be finals tested, but they're playoff tested. They've been winning. They've been losing at, in the Eastern Conference semifinals and the finals, Eastern Conference finals for like the last 5 years. It's just like Jordan's path. Everybody talks about Jordan's path. Jordan's path, he was losing to the Celtics, to the Pistons. You know what I'm saying? All these other teams until he finally got over the hump. So it's the same thing with Boston. Boston losing to Cleveland, losing to Milwaukee, losing whoever until they finally got to the hump to get here. So Boston is hungry right now. They want this. This is bad. Now, this is another issue. Jason Tatum had a terrible game. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he was assisting the ball or whatever, probably playing his defense, but he had a terrible offensive game. So in other words, it's like when Shaq talked about the others beat the Golden State the other night.
Yeah.
The Stars didn't beat them. The others did, other than Jaylen Brown, the one star, whatever on the other team, the real like so-called superstar, but the others beat them. So let's just say, for argument's sake, tonight, because Jason Tatum was known to have a bad game and come out and give you 30.
I'm telling you.
So if he give you 30 tonight, or you know what I'm saying, Jaylen Brown may give you something more. One of them, I don't, of course we don't think Al Horford will give you another 25 piece, 24. He might or may not, but you can't necessarily expect it. But somebody else is probably gonna come along.
I just feel like who's gonna stop him though, because Draymond, he might be too small.
But that and Draymond, and I think I told y'all this other night. Draymond got a lot on his hand. He got a lot on his plate. He got to deal with Robert Williams, and he got to deal with Al Horford. So he got a lot on his plate, like or whatever. Could cook Kevin Looney. He not gonna really guard. He just gonna kind of anchor the paint a little bit. But Draymond Green got to take up the slack of basically manning that of guarding the wings and the big man. So.
Yeah. Because Al Horford he's shooting three. So
that's what I'm saying. So you got to deal with Robert Williams out in the post banging, you know what I'm saying, getting rebounds, blocking shots, trying to contain that a little bit. Then you got to deal with Al Horford shooting threes. Kevin Looney ain't going to really be out there like that. So who's your other big man that you're going to really, you know what I'm saying? And then they trying to depend on you. I knew there was a problem when they trying to depend on old Andre Iguodala. Let it go. He's not Andre Iguodala 15, 16. He's not. Let it go. He old.
What's up, Corey? That's my boy Corey. Yes, and the bench beat Golden. Jason was just playmaking. Al is gonna ball, and Draymond is too small. Yeah, Draymond too small. That's what I'm thinking. What's up, Chris?
What's up, man? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, that's what we're saying, Corey. The bench, the others beat. The others beat Boston the other night. It wasn't even the starters. The others beat them. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know not the starters, but the superstars didn't win that game. Yeah, but what's up, Crystal?
What's up?
So go ahead. I want to hear your assessment on this game because you don't say what you got to say about all this.
But what's the question? Why did Boston win?
Game one.
Well, why they win? Because I told y'all on Wednesday night, the players they stepped up, was gonna put pressure on Golden State, and the players that I told y'all that needed to step up, stepped up. Al Horford, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. You know what I'm saying? They stepped up. So, in your mind, what did you see in the game? Whatever. What was your assessment of the game at the end?
Well, they got hot. Really, if you think about it, Boston got hot at the near the end of the fourth quarter. They was making everything because they were trailing in the fourth. Like I don't know what comment, but yeah, that bench outscored them because of Derek White. He can't get 21. You can't have if you're Golden State. I mean, you can't have their bench play well on your floor because role players typically play better at home. Because they have the home crowd and all of this stuff. Well, but their role players play well on the road, so that's not a good thing for Golden State. But they did have, I won't say control of the game, but they were right there in the game at home, and they're the team that usually goes on that hot run, at the end to kind of close the team out. But it was Boston that did it. Al Horford had 25 or 26, and the next game he usually has 8 or 10. He'll have the boards, he'll play defense, but he doesn't usually put big numbers up game after game because that's not what he's there for. But he got hot from three. By the way, his three-point shot is extremely ugly. Extremely. He knows the ball, but his other hand is right
on
here.
top of the ball.
It's terrible. Yeah. But he was knocking it down, though. So, and he'll get those opportunities. Plus, I don't know if y'all saw the stat, I think Boston hit 21 threes, which is their average, but like 70% or something of them were wide open, which means nobody was within like 3 to 4 feet of them shooting open threes. You can't, if you're Golden State, you can't have that. Open threes? Then you expect Jason Tatum to have a bounce back game, right?
Yeah.
But
he gave like that 12 points. He can't do that.
But they say Golden State is known for that too, though. The Golden State is known for letting you get your threes off. Like that's what they give up on defense mostly. Is the three.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You remember Jason Kidd? They said something to him about Steve Kerr. It was something about coaching or whatever. But Jason Kidd was like, "We're just missing our open shots. Like we have them, we're just missing open shots."
Yeah,
I don't know if Boston gonna miss as many open shots as Dallas did.
No.
They 3-point shooters are way better. Like they 3-point shooters are way better than Dallas 3-point shooters. And then at the same time, with Dallas, if Luka is off, you can kind of neutralize Luka. But let's say you neutralize Jason Tatum, and I don't think they really neutralize him. I just think you're just missing shots. Jaylen Brown, he can get you 30 or 40. So Dallas ain't really have another player that can get you. I mean, Jalen Brunson can go off a little bit, but he don't put the kind of pressure on you that Jaylen Brown does. Jaylen Brown got that mid-range. If he get going, he get the three, he can drive to the basket.
Oh, he gonna finish that too.
Yeah, he can do everything. Like he more athletic as far as yoking on you than Jason Tatum.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So basically, like, if he get going, don't let Marcus Smart want to be superstar self start hitting them threes on the way.
He had 18.
Defense.
Get it going, it's over with. So my thing is this. And I was telling Jacob this. I said, Jordan Poole, the thing about it is Jordan Poole regular season great, or is he going to be regular season and playoff great? We don't know that yet. It's easy to ball in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? Just think about this. When they was playing in the bubble, right? Everybody in the bubble was hitting shots. Everybody. Because it was no crowd, it was no pressure. So everybody was playing like it was regular season when they was in the bubble. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they first got when they had to play them first eight regular season games before they got to the playoffs. If you remember all the sorry teams that was left, that was still in the bubble, all of them was still there. Everybody was making shots. But when you get to the playoffs and the pressure is on you to make all them shots, can you really do it? We don't know that with Jordan Poole. And then Jacob got upset with Andrew Wiggins saying he wasn't balling. I said because Andrew Wiggins is not really. He's the fourth best player on the team, third best player. So he did a little something. What you expect him to do?
He had 20 points.
I was about to say Wiggins did more. He gave me more than I expected.
What you expect him to do?
Right. So he had 20 points. Now he did shoot the 3-2 for 7, but his was open too. If you watch the game, his threes were open too because they were like swing out after you run Curry off, run Curry off the line. But he defended Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Was he not the defender on Jason Tatum?
I think so.
Just like he guarded Luka. So he defended Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was 3 for 14. He had 12 assists, and I think Tatum ended up having the most assists to a 3-point shooter, and they were making it than anybody in the NBA Finals ever, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think Wiggins did what Wiggins wasn't the problem. If he gets 20 tonight, and Curry does, and the other team does what they're supposed to do, then you can't blame Wiggins. He's the defender, Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't look at Wiggins as the problem. I just thought that Draymond didn't do enough.
Yeah.
He said that, but of course he don't say that though.
He said what now?
Well, Draymond said it was him. He didn't do enough. He said when Curry comes out and hit shots like that, it is my job to keep. He said it was his job to do something, to keep something up, and he didn't do it. So,
well, I'm gonna tell you what's crazy too. What Jason Tatum said before the final started, and I was kind of with I forgot who said he should have never said it. Oh, Colin Cowherd. And Jason Tatum was making a comment. He was in a press conference. He said something about he would doubt himself sometimes to think whether or not he was the man, like if he was good enough to lead the team. And he said, Jordan would have never said that, Kobe would have never said that, Shaq would have never said something like that. He said, and then when you say stuff like that, your opponent is going to jump on you and get into you, whatever. You know what I mean? So that's the thing about that is, I felt like something like that you say after the fact, you don't say before. You say something like that after you win a championship. You don't say it in the midst of it because the opponent can use that against you a certain person. What y'all feel about that?
I mean, I see they wouldn't say this or that, but I think he was just being honest. And I think the thing about him being honest is that has been said before. So it wasn't no big surprise because they even questioned him and Jaylen Brown being able to play together. Who's the leader? Who's the whatever? So that's always been, not always, for the last 2 years, that's been a part of their, you know what I'm saying, a part of the team, like who's the leader and who's doing what. And he's also went on to say how dedicated he is to winning a championship, and he want to win more than he wants to breathe, or just as bad as he wants to breathe, and all this Kobe channeling doing, which is giving obsessive. It's giving obsessive, like
a little bit.
Want to be about Kobe. So I don't really think it's. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't really think it. I don't know how you're gonna use that against him. You really don't have a way to. You don't have a. I mean, he didn't say anything that's like bulletin board material for whatever that's worth. He didn't really say anything. He just said he questioned it, and then he has his team in the finals. So what exactly are we questioning? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you questioning?
He didn't learn that at Duke. He didn't learn that at Duke.
We can't hear you, Icon. We can't hear you.
My bad. He was questioning himself. So, he was basically saying he didn't think he was the guy, when they was losing. But, of course, everybody, and I was one of the people, I admit it, I was one of the people saying to break up the team. You know what I'm saying? So, that's one of those things. You know what I mean? So, Huh?
Right? He's 24 though.
Yeah, he
25, right?
yeah, 24. I
Okay,
think he's
so
24. Yeah, but I was one of the ones that told him like break up the team. I don't think him and JB gonna work because they too much alike, and it's just like they don't know how to play together when they started losing or whatever. Because I was kind of disappointed in them last year, but I thought last year was their time to get to the finals, and then they like whatever reason couldn't get it together. So I kind of like done with Boston. I was done with Boston, especially when they came out this year and was like 23 and 25 at the bottom of the league. I was like, you know what? I'm good on them. You know what I'm saying? And then when they started winning, you was the one, Crystal. I'll give you all the credit in the world, Crystal. You was the one that said, but they winning. They beating people. And I'm like, who they beating? And I didn't realize they were beating good teams at the time. But I ain't gonna lie, I started really start watching it. I was like, okay, they winning, but what that mean? You know what I'm saying? This is regular season. Like you kept saying, Icon, they beating good teams. They legit. You like, I don't know if they're gonna make it to the finals, but they legit. And then about the last 10 games, I really started paying attention. And I looked at them, I said, hold on, this team can make it to the finals. And I really started paying attention. I said, this team can make it to the finals. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna take a quick 30-second break. Be right back here on 910 Sports. Okay, we back here on 910 Sports. As you can hear, Chris, I'm a little raspy this morning. I got a little cold, so I'm trying to fight through it as best I can.
I do just want to say, even with the raspy, it is good to hear y'all say this thing about a Duke player. Oh God, I love y'all. Like, keep it up, Chris. Keep it going, Chris.
First of all, we didn't really say nothing about it. Why you keep saying we said something good about a Duke player? Oh, I ain't really say that. I said he probably gonna have a bounce back game. But you gonna put that like you trying to pull more credit. I guess as much credit as I'm gonna give a Duke player. You know what I'm saying? So
but Corey, the difference between Jordan and Pippen was their offensive wasn't, you know what I'm saying, wasn't like this. Whereas Jason and Jalen, which I think Jason's a little more talented offensively, I think their offensive game is closer than
Jordan Pippen was nowhere near Michael Jordan on the offensive side. Yeah.
And another thing too, Corey, Pippen had a defined role. He was the point forward. Everybody knew that. And Jordan, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is more like a 1-2 punch. They're more like a you take it, I'll take it type of deal. They're not necessarily it's not like necessarily both of them have a defined role. You know what I'm saying? Both of them can play that superstar role at times. Jason Tatum just does it a little bit better. But with Pippen and Jordan, everybody knew Jordan was the bona fide number one scorer, and Pippen was the facilitator, the do everything, utility belt player. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Jordan and Pippen. You know what I'm saying?
But they did coexist, like you said, though. So
yeah, they coexisted. But they kind of coexisted from day one because Pippen understood
his role.
He the guy. Right. Whereas Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I think it's been times where they've kind of like fought against who was going to be the guy. But I think what kept them together is they both have like laid back personalities. So they don't really have alpha personalities. So like on the court. So like not on the court, but off the court, I meant to say. Off the court, their personality is not alpha. Because even Jason Tatum himself tell you he's a quiet person. If you watch Jaylen Brown, they're kind of laid back people. So if they had those alpha personalities, I think it might have been a problem already. If they had like a Marcus Smart type of personality, I think it would have been a problem a long time ago.
He keeping them together.
He does, but I'm just saying Marcus Smart understands that they're the guys, though. That's why he pushes them so hard because he understands his role. The only problem with him is he tries to do too much at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bruh, like you is not. It's a reason why you open on every three at the end of the game.
He would hit it.
But he started
hit the game.
in that last game against Miami. He was missing them last 4 or 5 of them. Like after you miss about 2 or 3, bruh, okay, on this next go round,
you gotta take them though.
Or at least drive to the back, at least to check a mid range. Put it like this is my problem.
I ain't never seen him take a mid range shot.
This is my problem with the NBA.
I ain't never seen Marcus Smart take a mid range shot.
Well, do a floater or something. This is my problem with the NBA. Just because you're open from 3 doesn't mean you have to take the 3. You know it's a basket. You know you can run to the box to go, right? You know that, right? So sometimes if you open and you know you're not on, drive to the basket. Put the pressure on the defense. Even if you don't shoot the ball, if they got to collapse, then kick it out. You know what I'm saying? But you don't got to shoot the ball every time you get it. Marcus Smart is one of those players. He gonna shoot him and Oladipo. You see them shots Oladipo was missing. He wasn't even hitting the rim.
Oladipo was terrible though.
But y'all know, wait. But y'all know, I didn't want to ask y'all about that in the group chat. Y'all know he broke himself like Dennis Schroeder. He turned down $100 million. So now he's doing $4 or $5 million maybe.
Yeah, he bet on himself and he lost.
Hey.
They don't stop doing. Why they keep doing that? They just won in a row, 2 years in a row.
All I want to know is who your agent. Who's your agent that you keep you on the gun?
Who was your agent?
I want to know.
Who was your agent? It better be.
The agent probably told him to take the money. He probably told the agent worked for him. He probably told the agent, "I'm gonna bet on myself." Now the agent probably quit now because
I'm telling you,
because you done messed up my money.
You can't be my. You got to go.
Hey, you know it's funny though. You know if Jacob was on here, he might say something like, "You know them foreign players." You know what I'm saying? And sometimes with them, you know, them jokers, don't make the best decisions.
That is true.
Oladipo and Schroeder both from foreign players. I don't know what they think they're going to get when they go real to America. But hey, sometimes you better off just humbling yourself. It ain't that serious.
Especially after injury. Schroeder had no reason.
Yeah, he should have took that money with LA. I think LA would have been a better team with him starting at point guard too. I think it messed up the whole thing. I think LA would have been better. They could have kept him instead of Westbrook, and then when he got another bona fide shooter for LeBron, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. I think you should have kept Schroeder and DeRozan. You would have had a way out.
He said smart. Somebody said on my TikTok. Smart more involved in the game now. He a work in progress.
That's true. And I think the reason why because I was one of the people just like you, Icon, last year saying maybe it's time to break them up. Only so that one person can be defined as the star and the other can define their role or whatever. But I think it's the coaching. I think they believe in their coach, and I think the coaching scheme, the scheme allows both of them to, because sometimes, like Corey said, sometimes Jalen does outshine Jason Tatum on the court or whatever, because they both have those abilities, and you actually want a team where Boston can switch everything defensively. They can switch everything. It's because you have both of them play defense. Smart is Al Horford makes a difference too, by the way. Al Horford is their defensive anchor as far as the paint. And then you have Smart who's their defensive anchor.
I don't think Al Horford, because I get that to White. Al Horford can be exposed a little bit because you got White getting up everything. Not White. Woods, my man, the big guy.
Williams.
Yeah, I think he allows Al Horford to be kind of, exposed, blows him, give up and drive him off. You're gonna run him right into the big man. So I think it's a perfect scheme.
Well, that too, but remember, Williams was out. He was out. Al Horford still that's what he was. That was his role when it was Brad Stevens' team. That was Al Horford's
Yeah,
role.
I mean, you said something too, Crystal, and let me get any comments because I got comments coming from TikTok.
Okay.
I'm live on TikTok. We got comments coming over from over here on the StreamYard. So it's kind of jumping today. It's my first time being live on TikTok. But my man was saying that my man 1078 was saying the whole Boston Celtics team is more involved in the game because they really want to win. And then he said, I disagree with you on some of your other comments. And then Corey over here, when he was saying that Derek White, was a pretty good player, and that Pop kind of kept him on a leash.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna lie, I kind of knew Derek White, and I said this early in the playoffs. I said, don't sleep on Derek White because Derek White is one of those players that can give you 15 to 20. He's like that guy off the bench, that six man that can give you some points and give you a boost at a certain time. He showed against Miami and Milwaukee. He can give you something off that bench. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. He'll drive to the basket, get little trick shots, and almost like little trick shots. And he'll hit a couple of threes. And he'll D up a little bit.
He was a little lost in the Bucks series, though.
Yeah.
Derek White was a little lost in the Bucks series and part of the Miami series, but he came alive like the last 2 or 3 games of the Miami. He's still hot. He's still hot from that. But I mean, yeah, he can. But if he's missing that 3, then you'll take that. Like if you're you know what I'm saying, if you're the other team, you okay with that.
But see, with him though, Derek White is not afraid to drive to the basket. That's one thing I like about him. He's not afraid to drive to the basket. You know, now sometimes he'll get a lot of charges doing it, but he'll drive to the basket. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on with y'all, man?
Yeah, you just woke up.
Nah, well, I woke up like 30 minutes ago, but I've been trying to fix. I let my daughter sit on my computer and make videos. I got up this morning. This camera was crazy. So I've been watching YouTube videos on how to fix it.
Yeah. So of course we're talking about this finals game. So since we already kind of broke down all the game 1, what are y'all seeing tonight in game 2? What are y'all looking for to see in game 2 tonight?
Golden State shoots lights out, gets the dub.
Okay.
Golden State doubling. I feel like that. Golden State don't.
If they lose, the series is over.
Yeah, this series might be over.
You said what?
We're on a 2-3-2 format, right?
No, they got rid of that years ago.
Nah, it's still
it's regular.
1-1.
They got rid of that about 8-9 years ago.
Yeah, it's 2-2, and then they go back to.
Yeah, they got rid of that 2-3-2 format a long time ago, like 7-8 years. I think somebody said something about. I read something like somebody asked about it yesterday on Facebook, and it was like they said 2013, but I know it was a few years back. I didn't remember what year it started. They changed it to 2-2-1-1, whatever. But I know they changed it.
You do 2-3-2 like that? Man, come on, because that thing was been over.
Yeah. See, thing about it was when people kept thinking Golden State was going to just dominate this series in the beginning, I'm like, have y'all been watching Golden State play over the last 6 years? Golden State don't never other when they had KD dominating like that, they don't dominate the series like that. You know what I'm saying? They always have series where they give up games and they make you feel like they can get knocked out. They used to do it against Houston. You know what I'm saying? They have that even the first round matchups, they'll give up a game or 2. I said, so y'all really been watching Golden State? I said, this is the same team that lost by 50 2 weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago. So I knew they weren't going to blow. They weren't going to just dominate Boston like that. Boston is too good of a team. And on the flip side, Boston is the same way. Boston don't dominate you and have been dominating in the playoffs in most of these games. Most of these games have been kind of nip tuck and then they'll step up in the 4th. But I knew neither one of these teams was capable of just sweeping the other team. So and the thing about it drives me crazy. Both of these teams, we get overconfident and come back the next game and won't play with no energy, no kind of passion. Think about this. Just let me know when people talk about Steph Curry's killer instinct. Sometimes it's what you say, not what you do. After game 3 against Dallas, immediately after the game, he says, we're playing with house money. I said right then they're going to lose game. I said they're going to lose game. I said when he said, because if you're going into a game where we can sweep a team and get them out the way, you're going to say our mindset is going there in the series. He said immediately after the game, oh, well, we good. We playing with house money. Playing with house money? Yeah, you playing with house money, but that should not be your mindset going to a closeout game. So, you know, but I do think I'm a big sure. I think Golden State will get bounced back. I don't see them losing both games at home. I would be shocked if they lost both these games at home.
I would be shocked.
I don't think it's over.
No, not even close. It's going. If anything, it's going 7 at this point because a lot of people saying Golden State in 6. I would say either way, no matter how it goes, I think it's going 7 games.
I think it's 6. I think it's gonna go 6.
I'll say 6.
I think 6 too, but I don't think it'll be if they go up 2, it's over.
Nah, yeah, if they go up 2 low.
If they go up 2, it's over.
If they go up 2 low,
so. If they go up 3, I'll be like, all right. But 2, nah, Curry, they can flip that thing.
Yeah, man, I got to see Golden State
Corey, I ain't sure about that. As far as the Boston team, I think there's people you could put Steph on and be okay with. You can't put them on Jason or Jalen.
You put him on Marcus
Smart.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 278. No, I thought I was talking to a guy. I mean, I thought I was talking to a guy, but it was a woman. So I'm sorry, 1078.
Did y'all already talk about Marcus Smart's effect on the game?
No, what you got?
No, I saw a thing yesterday. He was like, when he was against Steph scored, I think like 10 points. When he was against Clay scored like 5. When he was against Draymond, it was 0. And he was against one other person. I don't know if it was Poole, but like Poole had like 5 or something like that. Like everybody he guarded, like did nothing. And I don't even think it was 15 from Steph. It might have been lower. Like, but every person that he guarded while he was on them, they effectively were taken out of the game.
Yeah, because see the thing about it, the thing about the game one, what I watched early on, was that for some reason Boston came out and didn't know what the game plan was, so they kept leaving Steph open.
They probably was nervous.
Yeah, finally. You got the national anthem going on, the butterflies and jiggling. You know, and Golden State fans who they ready their own time. They like any other fan base to be late to the game. So you know, they probably.
I'm like, how in the world do you leave Steph Curry open every time? Like this thing is impossible. Like
that wasn't the game plan.
I don't care. Put it like this: I don't care if all the other 4 players was wide open, getting dunks and everything. I don't care if all 5 players would have ran to Steph Curry and been like, who got Clay, who got Andrew, but nobody got it. Steph, like this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, what is they doing?
Hey man,
and everybody pointed at everybody else like, what you doing? What you doing? They said, Emmitt don't got to pull off to the side and said, bro, we talked about this in the game plan. What did y'all do with it?
Right. He probably cussed them out, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Marcus Smart.
Like he don't play.
Marcus Smart was on the sideline, and I don't know if I saw the video where he was getting into his team into the Celtics. He was like, look, this ain't the Heat series. We can't do that. Like, we got to play them face up, straight from half court type. And I was like,
well, he said you got to play up and play down, but on Miami, you play down and go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you like the picks and you got to go over and you got to come up, you got to start up at the top, like you said. Yeah.
That coach they got, they won with the coach they got. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope.
Hold on. We're going to take a quick 30-second break here on 910 Sports. We'll be right back. Okay, we back here on 910 Sports. And I want to go back to something Crystal said too. When you were saying that the coaching. And that was my other pet peeve with not pet peeve, but my other complaint with Boston was I didn't think Brad Stevens was the guy. You know what I'm saying, at all. And me and my brother used to debate this all the time. And he was like, well, I don't know. And I said, look, bro, Brad Stevens is a good coach. But sometimes when you go from coaching guys that you can kind of mold into great, and you gotta coach great, every coach can't coach great. And he's expected to coach greatness. Boston, not just the players, but the culture. And I said that, and then you look, as soon as they removed him out of the way and got a coach, because I think Ime Udoka, he's respected. He has a certain thing about him, like a Mike Tomlin type of personality, like one of those. You sometimes you meet a guy, and this ain't no, trying to sound a certain way, but guys, when you meet other guys, you kind of automatic. Sometimes we meet other guys and know their leaders or know they are type of, when you meet, especially when you meet an older man, they done been through something, or they type person you want to get advice from, or that's how Ime Udoka comes off to me. He just his personality kind of exudes that he got confidence in himself, and he's gonna, you know what I'm saying, he's somebody you want to ride with in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, in fairness to Brad Stevens, they got to first of all, he was coaching a young team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, molding them into greatness. So they did make a conference championship, right? With Brad Stevens, right? I mean, he couldn't get them to the finals, but you're asking him to get a team that's where the stars are 22 years old.
Kyrie
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Kyrie was a little older than that, man.
Huh?
He had Kyrie.
What? But okay, we got to cancel Kyrie because Kyrie do his own thing.
Come on. I know you ain't throw that in there. I know you ain't throw that in there.
We can't even. Stop. I mean, I think Brad Stevens did. What happened was, and I was part of it too, I thought he was like a really good coach, the X's and O's of a coach, right? Because he could draw up a play. Time they come out the timeout, the play work like perfectly. And I was like, okay, he really know what he doing, but he didn't get him over the hump. But Jason Tatum still ain't a superstar yet. They're, you know what I'm saying? They're ascending. We're literally watching them ascend into that. So Brad Stevens still had them while they were young. You know what I'm saying? While they were babies. But I do think, the coach now is he feels to be a better fit for him. So.
Yeah, because I agree with you in the coaching, like as far as like X and O's, but I just feel like, you get to the playoffs, just like a player. You could ball out all year in the regular season. It's like he talking about Jordan Poole. The Poole part have been canceled because we don't know if Jordan Poole is a playoff player. We just know he's a good player in the regular season.
But hold on now, you don't think he's had a good playoff run?
No,
he didn't go to the finals, but he's played well in the playoffs though. Y'all know the playoffs don't start in the finals, right?
I know that, but what I'm saying is, when you get to each level, they go up or not. So first round, second round, third round, finals, two different things. Third round, he didn't play that great against Dallas. You know what I mean? He didn't play that good against Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
He did what he was supposed to do, though.
You
don't think he did what he was supposed to do? Maybe he did. Maybe he did.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to really gauge it because Dallas was so overmatched. Like
it was just like Luka
overmatched to begin with that I don't think what he did was. It's like, did it really make a difference one way or another? But what I'm saying is that it's like with a coach, when you get to the playoffs, just like Steve Nash, we realize Steve Nash can't coach. He's not ready. You know what I'm saying? He's just not. You know what I'm saying? He don't make no adjustments. He don't do nothing different. He should never been the coach of a team with two alpha males like that to begin with, in a Looney Tune and Ben Simmons. Should never been the coach of that team. So it's just certain coaches you already know. Like when you see Tyronn Lue coach, and everybody like, oh, he got Bron. The way he coached Bron and them, you know what I'm saying? Especially that last year, they had no business getting to the finals. That wasn't just LeBron. A lot of that had to do with Tyronn Lue. And we seen it when we got to the Clippers. When he got to the Clippers, the adjustments he was making on the fly, when between Paul George and Kawhi being in and out the lineup, and he wasn't scared to sit certain players. But I guarantee you, if he was at the Lakers, he would have sat Russell Westbrook. I'm telling you, he would have sat. You know what I'm saying? Because Tyronn Lue is his own man. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I said certain coaches you could tell what they're about. Brad Stevens to me, when it came to the playoff time, it wasn't just about X and O. Can you really push this team over the hump for the next step? And I just never really felt. I never really was a buyer of Brad of that. I know he had a younger team. I just was never a buyer of it.
We'll give Brad his credit for going to get Al Horford. He's the GM now, so
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he went and got Al Horford. He's the one that got something to do with the coach he hired.
Mm-hmm.
So you still kind of got to give him some indirect credit for what's going on. So he did do that. And back to Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole had an excellent series against the Mavericks, by the way, if you go look at the numbers. He's just had a bad game one. I don't know if the pool party's canceled, Corey. I mean, he might invite you tonight. I don't know. But he does have to play better, though.
9 points, 2 assists ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna have
to. Right.
Yeah.
And he coming off the bench too. So like, what are you expecting from a bench player? You want a Poole to get you what, 15, 16, and you know he can get you more than that or whatever. But he has to be better. He has to offset White. He has to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or outplay him.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you expect Jordan Poole to be great though?
Who, me?
No, Corey. He's saying he plays.
Well, he was sound like Corey.
But why do you expect Jordan Poole is a bench player? Why do you expect him to be great? I think that's an unfair expectation of him. Great? Steph Curry needs to be great. Klay Thompson needs to be great.
Draymond.
Jordan Poole doesn't need to be great.
And that's another thing, Crystal. And I told y'all this. I told Jacob this the other day. And I remember we had this discussion at the beginning of the season when Klay was coming back. And y'all was like, everybody was like, if Klay come back, he's gonna be the guy. He gonna be.
No, I did not say that.
I gonna say he's gonna be the guy. I didn't say you said that, but I was saying that basically he gonna give him that pushover and get him over the hump. He might be the X factor and all of that. But I was saying at the time, I said there's too much pressure to put on this man because he came off of 2 catastrophic injuries. You're asking him to come back and be the old Klay. After that, it's not going to happen immediately. He may have flashes. He may show you that that Klay is still in it, but it's not going to be that this year. Maybe next year. So my thing is, if Klay does not have, he's going to have 2 play games in this series. If he don't have 2 of them play games in this series, they're not winning this series. They're not. You know what I'm saying?
I can agree to that.
Ain't it scary though that if they do win though and he's not 100%, what are you gonna be get back next year? I said, wouldn't it be scary if they win this year without him being at 100%? Because that means next year they be even more dynamic. And Wiggins will be wide open.
It's crazy.
It just depends on who all they can bring back. I don't know how these contracts can be constructed because You know,
They don't have a
'cause
contract problem next year, I don't think.
They don't.
Jordan still got one more year, right, on his rookie deal.
Who?
Jordan Poole.
They just got Jordan Poole. So he
So
should
he got like one more. He got like one because he was there last year and this year. So he got one more year on his rookie deal, I think. Wiggins is still on the contract, right?
Yep.
So
they'll
I
be
mean,
fine.
yeah, they can always be a problem because they can shoot. They how to play. They play together. They like the old Spurs team. They always
Not
It's the
they
same.
they good because they play their game and everybody else tries to play their game to keep up and they can't.
yeah. You're right.
That's all it is.
But like
Or
we
you
said,
expect a third-year player to be great. Come on now.
I don't expect him to be
Not
great,
you,
but
Icon, Corey. Not you.
oh yeah, no. Then I was saying Corey too, though. I don't expect him to be great, but I do expect, like you said, he's gonna have to match Derek White. Or he's gonna have to watch Peyton Pritchard a match. He's gonna have to match whatever players Boston players get hot. He's gonna have to be that other player that give him something. He can't have 8-9 points.
Right.
You know what I'm
Gotta
saying?
give him something.
If Al Horford go off, we know Draymond is gonna be 25-30. You know what I mean? You know, I know somebody was saying that Draymond was capable of going, you know, in the finals that year when he went off against Cleveland. I said, come on now, it was 7 years ago. Draymond Green is not doing that.
Draymond had 4 points, 0 for 4 from 3. That ain't no Draymond.
Draymond used to get buckets, man.
He's not making the Take it up.
Yeah, remember he used to remember early on in the first championship runs, Draymond will come in and he'll get some buckets. You know what I'm saying? He had a shot, at least a couple threes or something. That man turned into Dennis Rodman overnight.
Because his body breaking down. His body breaking down.
He want to be a media member. I just told Icon that.
But he just did a thing right after the game, but yesterday. He did a and you know, some of the people don't think he should be doing that.
Hey, what did Charles say? He the king of the single doubles?
Right.
Hey man.
Corey, you said great though in your other thing. You said great.
He did say
that's he another example, just like Harden, man. He another example of what a regular NBA player looks like when they start hitting that age, that normal 30 something. You just start to fall off, man.
Draymond Green.
He's been losing hits for a while though.
His offensive game ain't never
because he really
up,
ain't great. He just was an energy guy.
I mean,
he's still there.
Yeah,
he's still
like that.
Draymond Green is like he shoot the ball like he like your uncle, that old school uncle.
Right. With his cigar in his mouth, I'm like, give me that, man.
And it's a flat shot. It don't even have no arc on it. It's a flat shot.
That's because his white beater too tight and his shorts too tight. And he's shooting at some Crocs. You know what I'm saying? He's just trying to.
Well, 20 years ago,
watch when Kawhi Leonard start to look real old. That's how his shot gonna look. Because if you notice, Kawhi Leonard shot, he got like this straight shot that he shoot, but it go in. For some reason, it always go in. But when he start looking, when Kawhi start looking old, that shot gonna hit the front of the rim every time.
Yep. He ain't gonna have much elevation, but he can't get up.
Yeah. It's gonna be looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But what I was gonna talk about? I was something else I want to talk about in basketball. Something I seen the other day. Man, it just slipped my mind. But
Darvin Ham.
Oh well, yeah, we talk about Darvin Ham. To me, Darvin Ham, from what I'm hearing, he's going to be like an Ime Udoka, at least, like players respecting him and putting their best foot forward for him. I don't know what coaching, I don't know what the X and O is going to look like, but I think he's going to respect. He's going to have the respect coming in the building.
Can you win with Westbrook? That's the only thing I would have to ask you as an owner. Can you win with Westbrook when you come do that interview? If you tell me, yeah, I expect you to win with Westbrook.
No.
Well, they're giving him what you call him though. They're giving him what they didn't give
Frank Vogel.
Right. He gets to pick his own staff. I think he has autonomy over his staff. and maybe he'll have autonomy over decision making. So if he needs to sit him or have him come off the bench, then maybe he'll have the authority to do that without
a lot of money. Yeah, you got 47 million.
Okay, you gotta keep him. Don't nobody want him.
Yeah, don't nobody want him. But
you can't give up
I did just get notification that said that NBA or Laker insiders or something, like they're exploring trading Westbrook for Kyrie.
Yeah, I've heard that all week. I've heard that all week.
You know, KD out of there. KD is not staying around for this Westbrook.
But if you're gonna do that,
he can't do it for what he could have to suck it up for a year though.
Or he could just take that trade and then let's just reload with all the extra stuff they're gonna get for him, like how the Oklahoma City still spending them first round picks from all them trades. The Nets just have first rounds.
Wait a minute, you said what team you said? Be like who?
Oklahoma City. Yeah.
I mean, excuse me. I'm sorry. They ain't even been close since they let go of KD. So,
hey. Or you aren't they doing the expansions next year, right? They talking about trade them back to Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Get some of them picks, some of them preferred players. You know what I'm saying? And or send them to Vegas. Why not?
Well, Westbrook come off the books in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying he actually
trade that
line.
line. They can trade that line.
If you trade him to the Nets, if you're trying to get rid of Kyrie, you don't think that Durant can suck it up for a year? Because we're gonna get rid of him after this year anyway.
Yeah, and it might be at the trade deadline. There might not be a whole season.
Right.
The way the NBA players get the Nets in the season, they go play with.
I love it.
I watch in the summer and then turn around and for a trade that same day.
Well, if that's the case, then if I was Portland, I would do that.
Portland.
If I was Portland,
You do what?
I would trade Damian Lillard to like the Lakers or somewhere for Russell and get off the books and it's not over. It's not over anyway. I would do that then.
But Dame talking like he there for the long haul.
Yeah,
but the owners saying they don't want to keep going on with this. They don't want to keep riding with this. Like the chairman people, like the people like the chairman of the board, the people that's kind of like over the owner of the team, because like owners always have people that's in the organization that is in their ear. And I guess the investors of Portland, you know what I'm saying, the minority owners, whatever you want to call them, they're saying they don't want. That's why they got rid of CJ, because basically they're saying that at this point they know they're not going to win with that. With the team constructed the way it is, they rather just start over. So
but you don't start over with Westbrook, though. You don't start over.
You start over with Westbrook. You do the same thing. Everybody like this.
No, you mean get rid of Westbrook and start over.
What I'm saying is, if you get Westbrook, you using him to basically you don't get rid of him anyway. You just trying to get somebody off the books, so you trying to get that money off the books and start over.
Right.
And it don't have to be a straight up trade. It could be a 3-team trade where you get draft picks from another team.
What I'm saying is that you're gonna start over with no stars. The reason why you got people who come to Portland game now is because of Dame. So if you get rid of CJ, because out of the two, that's who you get rid of, right? Yeah. So don't you have to give Dame a chance to? He didn't play this year, basically. Yeah. Don't you have to put something around him to give them a chance to say, okay, we chose Dame. So now let me see if I can put this around him to see if they can have success. You got to give it an opportunity, unless he wants out.
He keeps saying he don't. He keeps saying he don't.
Right.
Hey, man, send Dame to LA, man. Dame to LA, I co-sign on that. That would be.
I bet you do.
That would be. I mean, I can't see how Portland won't burn that stadium down if they trade Dame straight up for Westbrook. They're gonna tear that thing down, man.
But see, my thing too is just like with Bradley Beal, because they said he could get a 5-year deal, right? But you can sign a 5-year deal, I think, and be traded and do a sign and trade 5-year deal.
Yeah,
So,
but you gotta have a trade partner.
I don't think so.
Huh?
Not like that.
You gotta have a trade partner.
you gonna tell me ain't nobody gonna say trade for Bradley Beal?
Oh, they trade for him.
And somebody will trade for him, but I don't know somebody can fit that. It is like Bird.
Right. And Washington owns his bird rights. Yeah.
No,
Yes,
what I'm saying
the
is,
Bird right. Though. I don't think he used that option.
but what I'm saying is, I think if you do a sign and trade, you can do your 5-year deal
Okay.
and then trade within that 5-year deal. It's just like, let's just say for argument's sake, Kyrie Irving is a free agent. Oh, can I just say, okay, Kyrie Irving is a free agent, right? And he can opt back in, but he get a 5-year deal. So what he can do is, I think you can sign your deal, and then like your team can sign you, and they can trade you for something off that 5-year deal. So they can trade him to whoever, the Lakers, whoever, and then get pieces back, and then he'll get off that 5-year deal. So you can do with James Harden or whatever. And Bradley Beal is up for that extension, so he can get a 5-year deal. So I think you can trade him in the same scenario or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's if Bradley Beal, he's saying he want to stay too. I don't know why. Washington on the Washington not as bad as they about as bad as the Commanders when it comes to just putting teams together. But
The DMV special, some mumbo sauce, man.
I don't know what they doing up there, but
Mumbo sauce.
Mama sauce feels good now. That's
Yeah,
good.
hey boy,
It's good.
make sure you get that thing out of DC or Landover, baby. That mumbo sauce different.
oh no, so let me ask y'all something. Let's get into some of this week, this past week, NAL talk, and I want y'all to school me on what's going on. What's the update on all this NIL, all this back and forth, this beef, these coaches. So what are y'all seeing? What's y'all assessment of what's going on with that?
Man, it's right now. It's the wild, wild west right now. Because there's not really, there's rules, but it's really hard to enforce it because everything has to be businesses, and it can't be boosters that's giving the money. And technically, they're not. They're creating businesses to give kids the money, and that's how they're getting away with these loopholes. I think right now you see it going crazy because they will make the change. Like in a year, maybe two at the most, they're going to regulate it. They're going to change it. They're going to put more. The SEC is already talking about implementing something like for the whole league, for the whole SEC, to make everybody on the same playing field. And so the kids trying to get their money now. The coaches, the high school coaches, the families, everybody's trying to cash out now. Because if you don't, you ain't going to do it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna find a way to put up to control it because it's but that's what they probably thinking of it right now.
Yeah, the biggest problem is like the tampering stuff, and like schools is offering kids crazy money. Like if you offer a kid $8 million or $4 million to come to your school, that's crazy. Like for the school. Now, I don't think you should be able to regulate how much they make, because if they come and they go to Zaxby's and they give them $200,000 and stuff like that, they earn that. But I think these private people aligned with boosters and the schools, those are the people who's going to be regulated. It's not going to be just businesses. Like if a guy can make $4 million, he can make it. He earned that. But it's the guys that's attached to the boosters who attached to the schools who's going to mess everything up.
Well, I mean, I think, and I kind of said it earlier before this. I told you I said it was going to be an issue because now these top dog schools can't control the whole entire market as much. They still gonna get their players, but they can't control it like they want to.
Nah, it's not the big schools, man. They nervous because you look at somebody like Bama. They use their prestige and they give a little back. You know what I'm saying? So now you have schools like Tennessee who's traditionally been trash since 97, 96, but they have a lot of money available. So
Right.
they're going to buy a lot of the players that Bama will get, or Texas A&M, who's been trash, got that oil money, and now they can buy those players to make it more balanced. And that's where the Nick Saban issues then came, because the smaller schools that have big money around them, they don't have to compete with other people. Tennessee don't got nobody to compete with. USC don't got nobody to compete with.
Nope.
So I think you got schools like Miami, Florida, Georgia, who got billionaires in their pocket anyway.
Right.
And that's going to be the thing where these lower tier schools are going to come up, because they can buy the players now. They don't have to sell prestige. Who cares? Come get this money if you want it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And with
Texas,
inflation, I'm coming to get this money. That's just me.
And you know what's funny though?
Gas prices.
That, Shannon Sharp
Yeah.
said something funny. He said, I don't mind the players getting the money. He said, but I ain't seen a billboard, I ain't seen a commercial, I ain't seen nothing. So if we supposed to be using your likeness and sponsoring you, what you doing to get that
Well,
money?
what's happening is you can't. So, for instance, right, we'll talk about Florida. Anthony Richardson, right? My man, he's gotten
A-Rod.
upper 100,000s as far as NILs, but he's sponsored by like Outback. So he brings his team there to eat. He'll make an appearance here or there, and that's how he gets his checks. Or you'll have a guy who they'll just post online that, oh, I'm playing Fortnite, and that's their money. Or they're signed, the cards, and you can't tell a player how much they get. So I can sign you 100 footballs and get paid $500K. So it's the money that's going along with what they're doing. Like, it could be just, hey, come down to the dealership and for a day sign autographs for 3 hours, and we'll pay you $750K. And that's the type of stuff people are like, is that too much? But at the end of the day, if somebody want to spend that money, they can.
Right.
But it goes
you can't
to
tell me
how
what
they
the
connected,
value.
right? It's just going to be the connection, like how they used to get the agents and stuff at dinner. Now they're going to say, okay, this business is attached to who, and it's going to be a trail of who's attached to the business. It's going to have to be somebody like me that's up here in Texas who's just a fan, open a business, but I get the money from the bag man, from the bag man, from the bag man next to the school, so they're not anywhere connected. And it's like 5, 6 people in between, and then I can get that money to that player. That's what's going to happen, like it was before.
Nick Saban just mad because his boosters ain't coming out of pocket like Texas. USC boosters. USC offered a kid a mansion out there that was worth $2 million. And Nick Saban like, damn, I ain't got the property in Alabama that's worth $2 million I can offer no kid. So it's just it's not going to be fair from a geographical standpoint. So you got kids that are going to go places because of the money. Like USC offered that kid Addison to watch. They offered this man a whole house, 3 cars, and a salary. And this is a house in California. Now, when you talk about regular houses, you talk houses in California.
LA.
In LA. Nick Saban, what you got to offer? What you gonna beat that? What you got to beat that?
Because Nick Saban used to give his kids, he used to give his players before NIL. He has his own dealership. So the kids would come, and all the kids would drive their Mercedes Benzes, and they would get about 15, 20K. That was like the bag for Bama. And at the time, that's great because nobody else was offering anything close to that on a regular basis. But now
USC gave that man a Bugatti. Listen, we give you a Bugatti.
One of the Texas players has a legit deal with Lamborghini. What you wanna like?
Ain't no damn Lamborghini dealership in Alabama.
Right, Anthony Richardson on private yachts. The whole team. Now everybody talk about Florida not having no money. The whole team came back permanently, diamond grill, crusted grill, the chains, boats, Ferraris, all that. And it's Florida. But when you see like these schools coming with this money, they're not making major announcements like a school like a Miami necessarily, but they come in and they come back to school and you know what I'm saying, they diamond up everything, but they showing up too. So you're not seeing a lot of the whole prima donna stuff that I think a lot of people were expecting. The kids show up, they're working hard, they still playing because it goes to them getting money. So they're still chasing the NFL, but they're getting that money too. Even the bum players like Trey Dean just signed a deal with Jeep and got his mom a new Jeep, and people buying houses and stuff for their family. and they doing the right thing. Like they're not just wasting it. So it's
Yeah. Well,
hey,
I think you're always gonna have a couple, knuckleheads that's gonna do the wrong thing.
For
Even
sure.
I don't care how old you are, you're gonna have a couple of knuckleheads in there that's gonna mess everything up for everybody. But they're gonna do something stupid. But for the most part, I think, like you said, most of these good kids, they're gonna do right by the money and themselves and their family. Now, Colin Cowherd made a good point. He said the only thing he would say is that he feel like when a player coming as a freshman, he should have to play at least like 6 games, like half the season, before they just give him all this money. Like they should have to at least play a little time with it, barring like injury, but they should at least be able to get on the field first.
But
We don't know what's going to happen when Boosie say, "Hey, I gave y'all all this money and I ain't got my check yet." We don't know what's going to happen with that.
But yeah, and even if you make them play 6 games, that doesn't change anything because the school is telling these kids on a visit, hey, when you come here are NIL, our NIL possibilities. This is what you can potentially do. So they're not giving them money before they get there. It's when they get there and they sign, then the deposit hits.
Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy. I'm happy for them. The only craziness about this whole thing is that they're making it out like it's just a football thing. We still got basketball. We still got hockey.
North Carolina got the biggest NIL collection for college basketball.
You said Carolina?
North Carolina, they got the biggest collectors that they have the ability to pay their players the most out of any college basketball program. North Carolina. You got Michael Jordan as a booster right there.
Not Duke. Oh my God.
Oh. You know what? That's why we
Duke might be like 4.
But look at Miami paying their players $400K.
Yeah, Miami basketball is 3rd.
And Louisville, the Adidas schools in basketball, they all get like $50K from Adidas.
Yeah, don't be mad. We start getting 5 stars again. We start getting all the 5 stars. It'll like starting like Carolina from the 80s and 90s.
It's already started.
Don't worry, look, I'm telling you, you see football the most because it's the biggest driver for the money. But they're doing it baseball. They got kids that's in the portal. Soccer, like if your school winning and it brings money. Man, look,
baseball. UNC should win the national championship. That point guard they signed that deal. Y'all got a point guard in UNC. That's like he like wins younger age already. He like.
Does he have common sense though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Does he? No.
You done messed me up. I didn't know how to answer that one. So he gonna go out there, he gonna walk down the court and just throw the ball away. What you telling me?
I said he has the athleticism of
skill set.
Oh, okay. All right. What's going on? Hey,
that's funny too.
Hey, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you see USC and Miami in the Final Four of football the next 2-3 years.
Hey man,
don't be surprised.
Look behind me, man. Hey.
Yeah, that basketball. I knew when they did NIL when it came to basketball. North Carolina, look at all the previous players, the pro players that they got. You know they gonna win.
Carolina got the most. We got the most probably players in the NBA history. You know what I'm saying? And they always come around. You got the Jerry Stackhouses and the Vince Carters and the Michael Jordans and the James Worthies. You know they gonna be. Look, what y'all need? What y'all need for?
Look, and you think North Carolina businesses and teams like Ryan Day for Ohio State had a meeting with like the top 100 businesses in Ohio to raise money for the NIL. You think in North Carolina that line that's drawn, some UNC fans ain't about to pay what they got to pay to make sure they beat Duke and the other way around?
That's you got Michael Jordan sitting down the street.
You're like, look, man, we need at least $15 million a season to keep up. They're gonna be like, all right.
Yeah,
As long as you beat Duke.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you got a lot, and in North Carolina, what people don't realize, North Carolina already kind of like a rich state anyway.
Yep.
There's a lot of money in North Carolina, a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason why I know this, my town I come from is called Pinehurst area. Pinehurst is a really big golf area, and Michael Jordan, and like I said, Dean Smith, Barkley, all these players in the offseason come to Pinehurst to play golf. So that lets you know it's a lot of money just in that area alone. If you start going to Raleigh, places like that, Charlotte, it's a lot of money in those areas. A lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even talking about basketball money or sports money. I'm talking about real estate money or whatever you want to call it. Like they buying up so much real estate in North Carolina right now, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and think about Miami Hurricane. Miami Hurricane got a rich bloodline when it comes to NFL players that want to see them win. You know what I'm saying? Like Miami players show up every year on the sideline just trying to motivate them boys to win. So now you don't think that them boys, Ray Lewis and them boys, are gonna be showing up to these parents' houses and stuff saying, "Listen, come here, we're gonna make sure your kid good." You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And on top of the fact, I mean, Miami want to go out to the club on the weekends and party out with these, you know what I'm saying, these pretty women and I had these nice cars in Miami and be rubbing elbows with all the Rick Ross in the world and you know what I'm saying and all that, man.
Yeah,
they got money.
Because it's different. It's different, like you said with Alabama. Alabama could get you before off of we a winning program. But now, if I got a chance to go to Miami, USC, places like that, but you get a live in Alabama, all right.
That's why you say crying. Talking about he have a call deal like that.
Don't be surprised if it's going to retire in like a year or two. Don't be surprised. Nick Saban about to be out that door.
I don't think he's leaving because Nick Saban and Bama, man, like he really is the man of Tuscaloosa.
I think he'll move, bro. I think he'll go be the AD. I think you'll be the first guy to coach leave and then immediately move to the AD of the school.
I think he'll be like a Bobby Bowden. He will be there for a very long time because the power that he holds and like the money that he has like wrapped up in that state, like they worship him. Like he ain't going nowhere.
He's the president.
Yeah, like he legit is, man. Like it's real. Like I would see Dabo Swinney leaving before Saban.
But that's the play though. Dabo going back to graduate.
So you think because him Nick Saban and Coach K was kind of on the same God level when it came to their program. And Coach K is kind of like we call it quits. I think a lot of because he's seen a lot of this stuff coming. And that's why I said I don't know if these old white men can take not having as much power as they once had and much more influence.
That's what it is right there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. Is when you lose your power and your ability to be able to make people do what you want them to do, and you old like that, you like, man, I don't got the patience to be dealing with all this extra stuff coming on. It's enough I gotta deal with all this. Now you trying to add this over here, and I gotta deal with this too. That's why I said, like this year, Jim Boeheim, he was the god of Syracuse. And he already said he got a contingency plan to get out. I think the reason why he didn't retire this year is because he didn't want to take away from Coach K's situation. So I think that's why I wouldn't be surprised Jim Boeheim, but Jim Boeheim this year coming up, I wouldn't be surprised it's his last year in basketball.
Yeah,
so I can see all these old ass white men moving out the way, and then all these young guys gonna come in and start coaching. They already got their predecessor. He already got his predecessor lined up in Syracuse. He said in a press conference before the season ended, but he just said he didn't know when he was leaving. He know when he's leaving. He just ain't telling us when he's leaving.
Look,
but I'm telling you,
Bama, Saban ain't going nowhere. Like I saw a stat the other day. Since 2000, Since 2008, every championship has gone through Bama. Either they've won it or they played to win it.
I got it. But he old though. That's 22. We at 22.
And,
How old is Nick Saban?
He got 70.
He got to be at least. Let me see.
I don't know. I don't see him being around like another 5 years unless they
but
really
you gotta,
start
but
moving.
how he runs his program, like he runs his program different. And the teams that copy him,
He
like
is 17
Georgia,
years old.
like Georgia
Yeah, I tell you,
copies
70.
his system. Michigan State, Florida now. He runs it like a CEO. Like he hires world class coaches and he kind of sits back.
Well, he gonna have to go
Like,
home.
like,
You gotta go home and want to see your kids and wife and grandkids.
What do you mean go home? He is.
The man 70 years old.
What you mean? His family, bruh. You got Saban home is Bama, like his wife and kids and all that. They walk around like they can be
in football. Goddamn it, they ready to do something else.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, if you think,
We're
if you see how
gonna take a quick 30-second break and then you're gonna have to continue the conversation. Okay, we back. Yeah, small conversation.
but no, like I was saying, like for Florida, right? Florida, Billy Napier hired his staff. Then he has each of his staff members have like 2 assistants. And those assistants have assistants. So that way the coaches can have a more balanced work life. He's copied that from Saban. Saban been doing that for 15 years. That's why these coaches that you don't ever hear disgruntled coaches coming out of Bama.
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin
He
was
wasn't disgruntled though, was he?
no, he just is Lane Kiffin. And he wanted to run the show. Like Lane Kiffin just wants to run the show. Like at Ole Miss, he can do that. He can do whatever he wants, say what he wants. He ain't going nowhere. But remember, he jumped around. Kiffin was USC, Tennessee, the Raiders, came back. Like he was all over the place. So he just wanted to run his show, do what he wants to do. But he changed Alabama, and they ain't never went back since.
You right about that?
So
let me say this to you then, KB, because Nick Saban made a big fuss, and a lot of people saying he made a big reason why he threw Jimbo and Dion up under the bus, because it wasn't about Jimbo and Dion. It was more about he trying to send a message to his boosters, like you said earlier, to spend more money, to come deep in their pockets, go deep in their pockets. So, in other words, he had to have a conversation with one of these kids or their parents to say, well, coach, I would come to Alabama, but Texas A&M offered my son this instead of this or whatever. So my thinking is he kind of knows what's about the writing on the wall. He's been around too long not to see the writing on the wall. So now if all of a sudden he's slowly but surely losing this player, that player that he really wanted to a Texas A&M or Miami, USC, whoever, now how's that going to translate on the field? Is that going to be now where it's going to become an Alabama Invitational to the Final Four every year? It becomes anybody can win it. And now you don't win 4 or 5 years without winning a championship. Because of the fact that the playing field got a little bit tighter. You know what I'm saying? As far as different teams being in it. Like different teams you always have the Alabama and Clemson was there and a couple other teams. Because, like, I don't even know if Clemson going to still be able to get all those players. Because, really, Clemson ain't really in that area that's going to draw you into Clemson other than the program itself. And I don't know if Clemson got that kind of money. I don't know if in that area, South Carolina area, they got that kind of booster money.
They do, but it's like the old guard. It's one of those things where they feel like they don't have to play that money game. They don't have to. And I think that's what Saban was trying to get to his boosters. I think he's like, look, we got the money, but y'all don't understand what's about to happen or what's already happening. It's schools that he's not trying to get too far behind the ball. And I think he saw what 6 A&M did just in a year, and he sees what Tennessee is doing, USC. He's like, look, if y'all don't do this now, it's going to affect how we are in 3 years from now. And I think that's where, you know what I'm saying, he's trying to get ahead of the curve. But hey, man.
That's what I'm saying. So you don't think that 2 years from now, if they're not doing what he asked them to do, and all of a sudden he's not winning, remember he just lost. So let's just say that next year, in the year after next, all of a sudden that God status that he got, and he gonna always have it in Alabama, but that God status in college football is gonna be gone, because you know how it is in sports. This is what you did for me lately. And it was what you did years ago. What you did for me lately.
So you don't think earlier you compared him to Mike, at Duke or whatever, Coach K.
Yeah.
So Coach K kept getting top, top athletes or whatever, and they wasn't winning the championship, on a regular or going.
But we were paying players. We paid Zion.
Huh?
We gave Zion.
I understand that.
Well,
I understand that, but what I'm saying is if you're comparing the two, why don't you? And players still came to Duke based on the program. Well, obviously on Coach K, but also about the prestige of the program. Do you not? You don't think that the same translates to Alabama? And if you don't, why not?
Well, because I think one, that personality thing comes into play, especially when it comes to like the media and how they write your story. Like Coach K always had like a beloved personality throughout sports, even in the NBA level, where them guys in the NBA from the Olympics love him to death. So they always put him on a certain type of thing. With Nick Saban, he sometimes rubs people the wrong way. And I think that's one of the things that'll come back to bite you. It's almost like a Barry Bonds, or like when you great, but then you start coming down to the pack, then the media and stuff will start saying, "Oh yeah, all the news, you did us dirt, you talked us crazy or sideways. Now we gonna write our story how we really want to write it."
It already happened.
Kind of how the music industry did Damon Dash. Okay, in all the years we let you talk us crazy, you don't got Jay-Z no more. So now we're gonna treat you how we really want to treat you. But the Coach K never came off as smug or arrogant, or even this last year, he made me like almost be like, man,
Nah, dang.
No, what are you saying? No, what are you saying right now, Icon?
He almost made me like him. For real.
Wow.
Like, I always respected him as a coach.
You heard
He almost made me like him as a person. I was like, he almost made me like really like feel sorry for him when they lost to Carolina. He almost made me feel sorry for him. And then especially after the second game, the game at home. But the only reason why I couldn't is then when he said, he kind of threw his team under the bus. I said, yeah, there it is. There it is right there. That's what I was waiting on. Yeah. So when he threw his team under the bus, I said, yep, there it is right there.
But look, Saban, he's already did that because last year he snapped at his fan base because they were complaining that he wasn't winning good enough.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, because he wasn't blowing teams out by 35, 40 points, 28, like he usually does. And he was like, we're winning. Shut up. And his people were like, but you're not winning good enough for us. And it was a thing.
They would. See, the thing about it is, when you win like that,
they get spoiled though.
Man, they get so spoiled. That's like the Lakers. They done won so much that they expect the Lakers to be championship.
No,
But come on, man. Kobe ain't do nothing his last few years in the league, man. We ain't gonna do that.
I know that, but I'm just saying that's the way the Lakers are. That's just the way they are. They're just arrogant like that.
What you think, Houston?
I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I could care less if the Lakers win another championship than LeBron leaves. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. So, yeah, I mean, I said I don't care if LeBron would have went to Minnesota. It wouldn't have made no difference to me. I'm a LeBron fan. So, I can't be honest with you. I can't stand the Lakers fans. I can't stand it.
Right. They arguing with me. I'm like, what's y'all ring? Shut up.
Yeah, it's like y'all have 17 rings. What are y'all crying about? Y'all can't win every championship.
I'm like, come on, man. Kobe ain't last year.
And Boston fans got every right to be in there, not that area. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see Boston fans running around crying when they don't win. Oh, this, that, and woe is me type deal when they lose. You don't see them running around like that. They just angry people in general. Like Boston people, if you live in Boston, Boston is angry people in general. They ain't got nothing to do with the team. They just
Look, before we move to far the NIL thing, I just remembered there was a story of a very prominent player from the last cycle that was getting recruited between, it was like Texas A&M and another school. The player literally had an NIL offer, and the school was at the All-Star game, the Under Armour game, and they talked to him, and they offered him a bigger deal. And the kid went back to the first school and was like, look, they just offered me, blah, blah, blah money. Can y'all beat it? If not, I'm committing to them today.
Yeah.
And like, it literally was like, who gonna give me the biggest bag? I'm about to commit in an hour. Who gonna give it to me?
See, and now there's something you said, and this is the problem I said before we got this discussion, before all this kind of really jumped off. And I said my issue with all of this is if I'm going to school, see, and that's why I had the kid. We had the kid on a couple of weeks ago. And I said, well, what are you trying to go to school for? Because what you're going to school for is just as important of where you're going to school to play sports, because there's no guarantee you're going to make it to the next level. And even if you do, it ain't no guarantee you're going to be there that long. You're going to have to, at some point, you're going to have to leave the game, and you're going to have to get a real job or a real something going on.
That's a percentage.
Say, all my life, I wanted to go to Carolina, Miami, whatever. And then when it comes down to it, this school over here, USC, Texas, whatever, some other school I wasn't thinking about, offer me more money. But whatever program they have doesn't really line up to what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So now I go to school because I'm all thinking about the money, but I'm not thinking about the long-term effect of my life. So I want that's my biggest thing with the kids is still stay focused on, you know what I'm saying, the bigger picture. Don't just so focus on who can give you the biggest bag. If you want to go to school to be a doctor, still go to that school that's going to give you the best chance to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, just in case this doesn't work out. Because just because they give you all this money, 3 years from now, you might get to the NFL and be up out of there too.
These kids, man, let me say, I watch a lot of interviews, a lot of, stuff with these kids. Now you have a percentage who go to school. The NIL plays a small role, but they're going to a school because they have a great program, academics. You know what I'm saying? They're taught like, hey, life beyond football. You have some kids, but you've got a lot of kids who family, and even if their family's telling them that, like, look, man, just focus, but your family hurting. Like your mama could say, look, man, just focus, get that degree. But you see, you and your brothers, 6 of y'all sharing a 2-bedroom, and you like, all right, ma, I got you. But I'm gonna go to this school that's about to offer me this $3 million by the time I leave the school, before I go to NFL. They're gonna take that money because it's the same reason why guys re-sign to a trash team instead of chase the ring. You know what I'm saying? Chase success, because I'm trying to secure, at the end of the day, my financial future is more important to some players than the ultimate, goal of championships and things like that. So when you're talking about kids, they all think they're going to the league. Like these kids have been told since they probably were 12, 10, like, hey, you're great, you're All-American, they already have in their head that they're great. So they don't have any reason to not think that they won't get to the league. So while they're on their way, why not get the bag? And a lot of these guys are bag focused. Some are in the middle, and some are just future focused. But some guys, man, the money that they make in the NIL, they'll probably be the more money than they probably will ever make in the next 10, 15 years when they're done with football. You tell a kid who ain't got nothing, I'm gonna make $1 million. I don't care where you work, you ain't gonna make that $1 million probably in your lifetime.
Right.
Because
So
my
it's
thing
hard
is
to
this.
tell a
My
kid
thing is this. Let's just say a kid get offered, let's say $2 million, a house and a car. Somebody else come along, I'm gonna give you 2.2 or 2.3 or 2.5 million, house and a car. To me, but the first school that they offer you that 2 million and the car and the house, that's where you really want to go and line up with everything else as far as academic, everything else. But you decide, well, I'm gonna go over to the 2.5, and then it don't line up with nothing else but the extra $200,000-$300,000. So if you dirt poor coming from the projects, 2 million is gonna change your life. 2.5 ain't gonna make a big difference in the extra $500,000 ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, make you know better than that 2 million. It ain't gonna make you more richer, more
That's
better
not
off.
what's happening. You're seeing kids who make like the average, like good guys making about 300 to 500 grand, right? Like that's a high quality 5-star player. When the school tells you, look, man, we're gonna give you 400K. We're gonna, you might get more from other opportunities. We're gonna give you 400K. Make sure you're good. Your degree's gonna be good. High success rate of getting to the league. Then you have a school that's like, look, they offer you 400. I'll offer you $1 million. Like it ain't just like 500K. Like they offering these kids big gas. Like I'll double that. Yo, you want? They'll give you $1 million. We'll give you 2.5. And that's where it got these kids going. It ain't just 200 difference or a couple grand. No, I will double what they gave you. Texas A&M can double anything that Georgia offer a kid $1 million. Texas A&M got $3 million just to be like, look, I'll give you 3, and this, and if you can ball, you can ball. So the league gonna get you regardless. So you come here, you do your thing. We'll do our thing. You'll leave with more money than you've ever seen in your life. We'll make sure you're financially set. Your taxes are good. You won't have to worry about anything on the back end, and you'll just be set up for life and enjoy your life while you're here playing and getting ready for the league.
Okay.
You're gonna be like, give me that 2 mil.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, you come from poverty. You know what I'm saying? Any amount of money down there. Some people take. Some people shoot somebody in the head for 10 G's in
I say for less.
In a Red Lobster dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Them cheddar biscuits, baby.
So,
and that's the kids, and that's the kids with people in their corner that are advising them like a good way. This ain't the kids who ain't got no help or who's relying on their coach, but don't know or don't realize that their coach also getting a bag from that school to convince them to go there. So,
question is, y'all heard about Marion Barber? Is it any update on how he passed away?
I haven't seen anything.
No, man, I haven't seen it. They like another rap out of Atlanta. My phone.
Another rap out of Atlanta got killed.
Yeah, Trouble. I don't know if y'all know who he is.
Oh yeah, I met Trouble.
My phone been on
What?
Trouble.
Man, are you serious?
About an hour. My phone been buzzed about 30 minutes. Like, look at this.
That's crazy.
I met Trouble years ago.
I got some relatives that are deep in that. Like, that's crazy.
Marion Barber.
Trouble was doing them skits with Desi Banks.
Oh yeah.
They did like a little movie, like a short movie TV series thing they did sometime last year.
Yeah, Trouble funny though. He's a
Yeah, bro,
character, man.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's wild.
that's crazy, man. And that's the thing about, I don't know what's going on with our youth. And somebody asked me yesterday. They said that I feel bad about what happened in Buffalo, and I said, yeah, but I feel more trouble about what happened in Texas because when you kill babies, you got to have a whole different type of something going on up here when you shoot babies. You know what I'm saying? That's just a whole different thing going on. And then the thing about it is, the guy was interacting with a teenage girl online 10 minutes before he went and killed these people. Like, he basically said, I'm mad because my grandma keep fussing about the phone bill, so I'm about to go in there and kill her, and I'm about to go to the elementary school. So what did the elementary school got to do with your phone bill? You know what I'm saying? Or with your phone?
They just want to one up the next person, man.
It's crazy. Like, these kids ain't done nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? I just could never see myself being so angry when I can harm a child. We know how it is in life. There's two things you don't do. You don't do stuff to babies and old and elders. These are two people that's always been off limits since forever. Even in the streets, they'll tell you in the street, the two people you don't mess with is elderly and the babies. You know what I'm saying? And,
Look, I'm more mad at the police, man. Like, that dude was in there, they stayed for 90 minutes. And they showed up at like the 30-minute mark.
Bro, ain't no way
So you have police who's being told don't do anything. Meanwhile, parents are running into the school and getting their kids because they hear the dude shooting and kids screaming.
Yeah.
We on the public platform, but you got me.
My baby in there. I'm going in there to get them.
It was one lady, she tried to go, they arrested her. Yeah. And then she convinced to let her go. And she hopped the fence anyway when they got her kids and got out. You want to arrest me, fam. You want to dog, like, and it was cops that were like, I'm not waiting. I'm going to get my kids. Fam, there's nothing you can say to me and on this earth that's going to stop me from going in anyway and get my kids. I don't care what it is.
You going to have to haul me and have me look like I'm that doggone pig sitting up getting roasted. You know what I'm saying? You got the whole time. No, ain't no way. If I get to school and I see you doing nothing, I'm running in all time. Ain't no wait, ain't no hesitating. We're gonna take every cop out and hold you down.
Not nobody in this house. Look, I don't care, fam. Like, you gonna have to. There's gonna be some things that's gonna happen to me before you stop me from going into that place and getting my kid. I don't care. It's not we ain't up for debate. So I don't know how you sit out there and be a police officer and not act. Like, I don't care what your person say. At the end of the day, you got kids calling 911, teachers calling 911. You know it's only one shooter, and you know that where he's moving around. Man, go in there, dog. Like,
I'll put it to you like this. If cops are getting off for killing black people like they do, and they always take it up with each other when they do wrong, this one time, if I'm a police officer, that's my job to protect, and if I run in there, even though I was told not to, I just have to be reprimanded. You just have to reprimand whatever, because I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's my job to go in and I'm a face on the scene, you know what I'm saying? You just got to reprimand me. That's the way it is. If I really like talk about, that's why I'm for the protection of the people. So that let me know too many cops that when the issue is staying back in them, they're not really ready for it. They're not really ready for it. They're not really ready for something like this. Really, they just putting that suit on every day. Say they're a cop.
I saw somewhere where it was like the cops, when they in these rural areas, a lot of them are there on purpose because you're not going to get that on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? You get drunk disorderly, you'll get, like small stuff, but you don't expect to have a mass casualty situation like you would if you were in like a city or a metropolitan area.
Mhm.
And I'm like, look, man, if you talking about you want to be a cop, you got to understand what come with the territory. And if you don't want to do it, then don't do it, bro. Like you can work in the evidence room, you can be security at the mall, you can do anything else. Don't pretend like you're about that life and then when it's time to you got my kids in there screaming for their life. Like that's
Exactly. All right, we're gonna take one last break and we're gonna come back and close this thing out. Okay, we back. I'm about to finish this thing out. So we ain't talk much about. I know the draft is coming up, and we'll get more into it at the time. You know, I'm hoping to try to do a different NFL draft. So hopefully I'll be we could do like a draft night for the NBA. So we can break down the players that's coming in for each team, how they affect each team. So who do y'all see as y'all would pick at least number one? Who would y'all go with?
Who got the number one pick again?
Orlando.
Talking about for the upcoming draft?
Yeah.
Oh man. From what I was listening to, this might be the first year like there's no clear number one. But I think the kid out of Auburn is the one that everybody's looking at, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Jabari Smith.
I said Black Hero, but some reason a lot of
anybody.
people they saying like he just don't have that takeover. Like, you know what I mean? Which I agree. Some games I feel like he sat back too long and watched. You know, the rest of his teams or try to get the rest of his team going when he should have just took the game home. Especially that game against y'all. That game against y'all on the road, that person. Like the second half, like he kind of go ghost. He go away from the game. Like coach have to like say, hey man, before he really do that, do you really want that in your number one pick?
And what does I know Orlando needs everything, but what do they need a post player.
Well, last year they got what's my man name? Jake, was it Suggs?
Yeah.
They got Suggs last year. They got Cole Anthony. So,
I think they need a forward or a center. Well, you know, a big man.
Yeah.
What's that dude that played with Syracuse who was just dominating? What is Syracuse? He was a big guy. It might not be
Syracuse. But I know everybody talking about Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, but I ain't sold on him. He just gonna be a bust. He gonna be a bust to me. I think he gonna be a bust.
He just seemed like
he arrogant though.
Yeah, he arrogant himself, but he just seems slow and like he just I don't know, man.
I don't see his translate. He's talking about he gonna be Nick KD. That what he said?
KD? Yeah. Heck no. I watched KD in college, and KD was different in college, so I was like, no.
So, I mean, ever since he was a teenager, man, I was like,
they got him going to the Thunder right now. Chet Holmgren.
I mean, he's gonna get drafted,
number one,
but I think he's gonna get abused, man, because they're gonna because when you get drafted number one, number two, or lottery, you expect it to come in, automatically contribute. And you talking about coming into the West, and even to hurt Anthony Davis is gonna put something on that boy.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more light, not love. But out of everybody, I would say Banchero is the one I would go with. He's the most NBA ready from what I've seen all year. But I do agree with you, and I said this. He reminds me of Jason Tatum without the killer instinct, without that takeover gene. Like he has all the skill set of a Jason Tatum. They kind of like almost dang to the same size, but he doesn't have like when I see Jason Tatum in the summer league, his rookie year, I said, okay, this dude he gonna be something. He gonna be a superstar. But Banchero has the skill set, but like you said, there's games where I'm just watching and I'm like, bro, take over. Like I don't even want Duke to win, but you need to take over.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
And I'll put it like this: I wouldn't go for Duke in no scenario. It ain't no scenario I go when I got my brother. He'll be like, when the tournament come around, oh, I'm going for everybody because they from North Carolina, they ACC. I said, bro, I go for everybody but Duke. I go for State, Clemson, Syracuse, Virginia. I go for every ACC team but Duke.
Oh man.
Hey, this might be a crazy question.
Them and Dallas. If Dallas and Tom Brady in the playoffs against each other, I'm gonna have to go with Tom Brady. I just can't. I can't do that. You know, and I hate both of them equally, but I just have to go with Tom Brady. Have to get another title. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So there's certain teams I just can't rock with like that. But anyway,
And then we talking about the draft. They all talk about a kid from overseas. I think they're talking about a young type player who might be overseas already too. So you got to watch them in top 3 picks. I can't remember his name. Yeah. He's more young right that's ready. So.
Okay. There's always one. It's always one or two that get picked later on and get on that right team. That you know, like you said with Orlando, I mean, it's kind of tough coming in because they really haven't found their true number one player. You know, Suggs he's a good player and was great in college, but I don't know if he's a number one. You know what I'm saying? Cole Anthony.
Oh, sorry, this kid's coming from New Zealand. He had a friend with a 7-inch wingspan. His name is Osame Dean. They compare him to a hot upside Kyle.
To who?
But you know what's crazy?
Kyle.
Oh.
You know what's crazy? When I was watching the comparisons of all the players I looked at a couple of weeks ago, you know how they compare each player coming in to a current or ex-player. And all the players that were getting compared to somebody that was in the league or whatever, wasn't like a superstar player. It was more like a star player, but it wasn't like, oh, they compared to LeBron or they compared to this one or a Steph or they were like compared to Kyle Lowry or compared to DeMar DeRozan. I'm like, oh yeah, so what are we gonna do? Like compared to Kyle Hero. He's like, what? Like, okay, so these might be game changing players then. They're not compared to the top 5 players in the league. What we doing? You know what I'm saying? The top 10 players in the league. And none of these players are compared to the top 10 players in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, ooh, this class might be kind of weak then if that's the case. So,
and there's another one. Dyson Daniels. He's a bigger Lonzo Ball out of Australia.
What is that saying to me? Lonzo, I wasn't sold on Lonzo Ball when he came in. I still ain't sold on Lonzo Ball. They ain't telling me nothing. If you told me Melo, you know, I might have been a little bit more sold. But Lonzo, I knew he was gonna be what he was when he came in. Because I was like, when I seen him in college, and I kept hearing his name, and I watched a couple of games, I said, hold on, this kid on average like 12 points a game. If you're not dominating the league you in, what makes you think you're going to dominate the NBA? When Greg Oden came to college basketball, Greg Oden was only averaging like 15 points a game in college. And he was bigger. He was like Shaq in college. He was bigger than everybody on the court. And he wasn't dominating on the scoreboard. So I'm like, if he's not dominating in his own league, you know, and the Big Ten is terrible. It was not terrible. The Big Ten back then was average. Like,
yeah, but he was. I don't think he's a good example because he was hampered by injuries. And players do improve. They go get NBA trainers. it's about the potential you have. Just because you didn't dominate in college doesn't mean, like John Morant didn't dominate in college. Dame Lillard didn't dominate in college. These players still come in and improve and get better and have better nutrition and all these other things. Like,
Al Horford
just
exposed
because
that
you
man.
didn't dominate in college don't mean that you won't, that you can't.
But if I'm 7'1" and bigger than everybody on the
He had
court
injuries though. But he
in
had
college,
injuries.
He was injured
He
in
had
his
injuries
heart.
in the NBA, so how can you gauge it?
He was injured in his heart, and it affected his. You know when they say like you injure your right knee, so your left knee start to hurt because you're trying to overcompensate and all that. He ain't had a heart for it, and his knees started being affected.
but like when you see Joel Embiid in college, you knew Joel Embiid could dominate if he got help. You seen it in college. You know what I'm
So now
saying?
we give him the opportunity, but Whatchamacallit was injured.
What? But Greg Oden, when he was out there, he didn't dominate. He was out on the court. He didn't dominate. You know what I'm saying? At no point did he ever dominate on the court.
Okay, but who's to say he still wouldn't be good? Well, he may not dominate in Whatchamacallit. Well, he was great on the defensive end.
But if you're number one overall, I need you to be better than the Kevin Mutombo.
But he could have got. He could have got better though. Like if you would have got 20, 10, and 3 blocks out of him, is that not what you?
No. Greg Oden should have been 25, 12. I guarantee you. Shaq would have been like, that ain't enough. You know what Shaq would have said? That ain't enough. I need 28 out of you, big fella. I need 28 and 10 out of you, big fella. That's what Shaq would have said. If Greg Oden
we don't care about what Shaq says. We don't care about what Shaq says. He's
He's gonna do it when it counts.
Why you hating on Shaq?
So they said Homer. They said Chet Homer is Dirk and Marcus Camby on defense. That's what they said.
Okay, Marcus Camby was a good defender. That's a.
You don't even go together. It's like saying and the sugar at the same time. Like, what? They don't even go together.
They got Barnes being AJ. Who is that?
That white boy. They want that white boy to be the next big thing. That's all it boils down to. They're gonna hype him up until he show otherwise. That's exactly all they doing. Because he not gonna be huh?
That's what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
They said Bakero gonna be like a Chris Webber.
No, I don't see it. He don't even pass like Chris Webber.
No,
he don't even play like Chris Webber at all. Well, I seen that too. I did see that. He don't even play like Chris Webber. Chris Webber like the last 2 years of his career. 2-3 years of his career.
Obi Toppin, like who the hell are you comparing these players?
Somebody compared him to Obi Toppin.
They compared Keegan Murray, a power forward out of Iowa. They compared him to Obi Toppin.
Obi Toppin ain't been in the league long enough to be compared to nobody.
We don't know who he is.
Yeah, exactly. Obi Toppin don't even know who Obi Toppin is. Well, I'm going to compare somebody to Obi Toppin. Hey, come on, man. Who came up with this man?
I don't know. What website is this? NBA Draft Room.
Oh, my, they need to. Anyway, y'all, let me get over here because my voice is almost done. I'm over here sounding like Whoopi Goldberg. So it's about time to get off on it for real. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna get with y'all later on this week. Great show. Jacob the Great and got drunk with me. I don't know. You know, I told him old self. I told you old self to the streets around. But anyway, we out here, man. Great show. Thanks everybody on TikTok, B-Soul Radio, our new affiliate. Everybody can see. Check it out before we get out of here. Roku. Go download our Roku channel, www.bnrtv.life, and you can go to Real Sports and click on that. You see Real Sports. I'm adding new content up every day. and go in there and check it out. And, you know, follow us. Put up all the old content until we get all the way caught up. Then we're going to put up our new content as we're doing the old content or whatever. And then next week, so Saturday, y'all too will be on there start posting y'all stuff next week. On y'all stuff. So everybody check them boys out. They all check out my man Anthony Velvet Paul with his show over at 4 o'clock. We're just gonna keep this train going, y'all. But I'm out of here. And we're gonna try to say my thing because I probably wouldn't sound right. So y'all have a blessed day.
Yeah.
All right, we out.